Hey guys, G.I. Joe here. Welcome back to the bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. And today's episode is ATC, Pandemonium. So, I guess the first question is, some of you might want to know, is what is ATC? Now, I know a lot of you out there are familiar with Sire Blood's Bloodbath rule set. And if you're familiar with this, please forgive me as I do a little bit of teaching here for those who may not be very familiar with it. And before I get going, that being said, I would like to say I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. If it turns out it's a little bit lengthier than I want, what I'll do is I will post some time markers down in the description of this video, so that if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can skip to the section that maybe pertains to your interest. So, back to what is ATC. So, ATC is one of the technologies that was developed by Sire Blood for his Bloodbath rule set. Now, in the card deck that comes with it, or doesn't come with it, but in the card deck that he has made to go with the game, you have two different phases of technology. Or not phases, but two different cards for technology. Now, we're not going to deal with this card because it's not on here, so we'll throw that away. On the second card, you'll see number 10 down here, Radar and ATC. Well, if you read here on the card, it says anti-aircraft units and facility fire is increased to 2. So up from 1 in out of box to 2. Air bases can scramble unlimited planes, up from 3, and also provides +2 range from air units, up from 1. Now, this technology has been in effect for a little over a year now. In fact, this technology was an official technology that was used back in the Bloodbath tournament in September. However, lately it's come under a little bit of scrutiny, for lack of a better word, based on some games that have been recently played and some questions have been posed. So that is why we have today's video. ATC Pandemonium. So why this video? Well, first of all, I want to make sure that everybody was aware of the ATC technology. And so the reason I want to talk about this video is some questions have been posed by a decent amount of people as to perhaps the validity of this technology, has it caused the game to be broken, or not the game, but is the technology itself broken, some possible solutions, etc., etc. So how did we get here? Let's look at a scenario here before we talk about a few other things. So that is what is ATC, why this video, and so let's look at a scenario. Now, I will say, in full disclosure, this scenario that I'm about to show you is not particularly the only reason why this technology of ATC has come under scrutiny as of late, but it's the most recent scenario, so I want to explain the potential devastating, awesome gruesomeness of this technology. Sorry. I guess it depends on what side you are on. So what we have here in Gibraltar is, let me zoom in here a little bit. There we go. What we have here is an air base that was purchased by the United Kingdom in round 1 and placed on Gibraltar. In it, you can see that we have land units, but then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters in attack. Okay? Along with Navy. Now, if you read the card, it says right here, unlimited scramble. So the scenario that we have here that has shined the light kind of intensely on this technology is this scenario here. Germany wishes to invade Gibraltar. In doing so, they have a huge dilemma here in that if they go into Sea Zone 91, due to the purchases that Germany made, they only have 3 warships: a battleship, a cruiser, and an aircraft carrier with 2 fighters. Now with that, they have 9 transports, and they have 18 land units actually, okay? Now they have a whole bunch of subs here, but in this scenario, since there's only transports in here, the subs are useless. Yes, the subs can kill the transports, but here's the situation we have. Based on this airbase that has unlimited scramble, all 9 planes can scramble in here. So what you have is 9 planes, so 8 of them at 4 fighters, and 1 at 3 for attack, scrambling against this. Now obviously, subs cannot fire on airplanes, fighters, or any type of air units. So the subs are worthless in this scenario because there's no other warships here for the Allies. So you get a scramble against this, 8 planes against this, it's dead. Thus, all of this is killed. So then Germany has to make the decision of throwing their entire air force, or at least a large portion of it, into the sea zone to try to defend it. And then the Allies select, you know what? I'm not going to scramble. So now you have a situation where you have land units going against, you have 19 land units going against 15 land units and 9 planes. Sure disaster. Because Germany needs these planes in that battle. So what happens is now, wherever these planes go, is where these planes don't go. So if the planes go into battle here to protect the sea zone, they stay on there. If they go here and declare they're going into the battle for Gibraltar, all the planes scramble and kill this. So it is pretty devastating, admittedly. And it has posed the question of, this tech is broken, unlimited scramble is too much, +1 from the airbase is a problem. So let's look now at what some people are saying. Now in in previous videos, we have seen, comments, a lot of people have made suggestions after seeing this scenario play out in a recent YouTube game, as well as perhaps some prior YouTube games over here over the last couple months or what have you. And they pose the question as to the validity of this tech and whether or not it's broken. So let's talk about some of the things that people have brought up, okay? One question, or let's get this stuff out of the way. In fact, I'm gonna get the land units out of the way. Let's deal with only the air. One question, or concern I should say, that people have brought up is that, well, this base adds +1 movement. So an air base, a fighter, normally flies 4 spaces. Well, then if you put it on an air base, now it gets +1, which is 5 spaces. Now if you have ATC tech, it gets another +1. So now this fighter can fly 2 spaces. So look at this Mediterranean. So now we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crete Pro Allies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Egypt. So essentially, an air base with ATC in Gibraltar and a fighter on it can cover the entire Mediterranean, assuming it has a place to land, that the Axis have not taken Malta, Cyprus, or they have not taken Egypt, Syria, or Transjordan. All they need is one of those to land. So that's the first concern, is though the +1 range might be too much. We'll address these in a minute. The second concern is, well, all allies should not be able to use this technology, because by UK putting one airbase there, now that technology is able to be utilized by any allied nation. United States, France, UK, if Canada had a fighter, Canada. So then the concern, the complaint, or whatever, is that one nation pays for the tech, but all nations get to benefit from that technology because the technology goes with the base, the air base. So that's the second thing that the second actually and the third thing that people have brought up. And then of course, probably the most obvious is the fact of unlimited scramble. So let's talk about these few scenarios. One, the +1 range is, in my opinion, not that big of a deal. Yes, in this scenario, you can cover the entire med, but let's take away the ATC. Let's just say there's an airbase here under normal out-of-box rules. So you're going to move in a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by the only space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the only space that cannot be reached in the Mediterranean to kill ships is C-Zone 97. So even without ATC, virtually the entire med is covered. Now, you can say, well, in this case, Italy can tuck some ships in there. Well, possibly so. But UK can make a play for Greece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perhaps land there. So the +1 range, in my opinion, is not that big of a deal. Second thing I would like to say is getting the technology still requires UK or whomever has the technology still to buy air bases. Now, yes, UK has an air base already on London. And so if, the allied nations tucked a navy in there and landed planes, it would definitely help in the defense of London, admittedly. But even getting the tech, UK has to spend 4 IPCs round 1, 4 IPCs round 2. Then they have to spend at least 1 IPC in round 3, potentially 6. The earliest they could get it is round 3. That would be 6 IPCs plus 4 plus 4. That's 14 IPCs. If they miss, they have to spend up to however many they want on the 4th round to buy a dice for 1 IPC per die. So this technology would be costing, in this case, United Kingdom, anywhere from 14 to 20, 12, 14, 25, 26 bucks. Once they get the technology, then they have to go invest $15 on this. So it is a costly technology for the United Kingdom or whomever might use this. Okay? That's one thing. Second thing I'd like to point out. I can tell you this. The +1 range on the airbase is not going away. That's going to be staying. All right? As far as the concern from some people that, well, all the allies should not be able to use the technology from the airbase, or at least the +1 movement. Well, the rebuttal to that would be that doesn't make sense because take away ATC. London, for instance, or look, Gibraltar. UK drops an airbase there. France and UK send some planes down there. You got a 3-plane scramble. Allied units can scramble from that. So to say that, so in this instance, this plane, this French plane is benefiting, I guess you could say, from this airbase, even though they didn't pay for it. Okay? So I think that the fact that the concern that all the allied units can scramble from this and use that, or move one additional movement from the airbase, to me is not valid for this simple reason. An airbase is an airbase. Take out the ATC, any allied unit can use this airbase. +1 movement or scramble from it. So to me, those concerns are, I don't want to say not valid, but well, they're not going to be changed. Let's put it that way. So now let's talk about the Whopper, and that would be unlimited scramble. Now in this scenario, we had 8 fighters, a bomber, which was a transport, so it wasn't going to be able to do anything, obviously, and bombers can't scramble anyway. You had 8 fighters in attack. Now, in the ATC Bloodbath rules, what we had was all 9 of those planes could scramble. Admittedly, that's devastating. A couple things I would like to say is, how many times you see that? Not very often. Now, when it does happen, yeah, it could be devastating. Now, somebody might say, well, I mean, what would keep U.S. from just buying a whole bunch of planes and landing them there? Well, nothing. Just like if you were playing out of box and U.S. wanted to keep Gibraltar from falling to the Axis, nothing keeps them from buying a bunch of fighters and landing there to defend that with a bunch of force. Nothing keeps them from doing it. It's just part of the mechanics of the game. Having said that, it's kind of a race to the Gibraltar. If Germany gets to Gibraltar first, this scenario right here doesn't happen. Now, this is a specific scenario, but we're talking about the general tech of ATC. So, in my opinion, the only suggestion I think that actually has some merit to it, in my opinion, and since this is my channel, I guess I can have my opinion, is the fact that the unlimited scramble might be overpowering. Now that is not an unreasonable observation, in my opinion. It's also not an unreasonable suggestion to try to lower it off of unlimited. And so having said that, there have been some suggestions on what to do, and there are some recommendations. I've talked to Sired about this, and he is, as always, open to suggestions. And we had a discussion actually this evening, and looking at this tech and this unlimited scramble and moving it to perhaps 5 to 6, a limit of 5 to 6 scramble. And honestly, how many times do you see more than 6 planes on a territory that would be able to scramble? Now, Germany, of course. I guess obviously Japan could do it, but usually there are planes needed all over the map, and so that scenario might not happen as often as we might think. So the question that is being posed right now, and this is with the blessing of Sire Blood, of course, is in lowering, if this were to be changed, this technology, the one area that is open to be changed is the unlimited scramble. The +1 range from the airbase is staying. It makes sense. The fact that all allies can benefit off of the +1 range and scrambling from it makes sense. It's consistent with the general rule of the airbase as it is. So the only thing up for really debate is how many planes to scramble. And so what we would like you to do, if possible, is we'd like you to chime in down below with a number as to what you think the limit for scramble should be. Now, of course, we know out of box or general scramble rules would be 3 planes of any allied nation, as long as they're on land with the airbase. So the question is, what do you think should be? 4, 5, 6, more than 6? And if so, more than 6, what would that number be? So what I'd like you to do below is to chime in down below with a number. If you want to, just say, if you type in a 4, we'll know what you mean. If you type in a 5, we know what you mean. If you type in a 6, we will obviously know what you mean. Okay? So that's the way I think to resolve this ATC pandemonium, to come to, I think, a solution that hopefully will soothe the masses. All right? And like I said, Sired is a great, he's great about being open to suggestions. Now, having said that, let's look over here to his website. Now, several people have made suggestions in discussion boxes of videos, whether it be games or what have you, YouTube games. And just so you know, right now Sired is in the process of moving. He's really has, as you notice, he really hasn't uploaded any videos lately. He hasn't had the opportunity to, kind of fine tune and to continue to work on developing this fantastic resource that he's given the community. So, first of all, what I'd like to say is thanks to Sired for offering this. I mean, I know you put a lot of years and time and energy into not only developing the rule set, just the mechanics and the idea of what you wanted, but the play testing of it, and then making the actual tangible resources such as the map, such as the cards, such as the dice, the hit dice, such as the all the convoy markers, all the things, all the tokens and the roundels and the tech roundels, and so just the amount of work that you have done and provided for the community is outstanding. But what I've noticed in knowing Cider here for the last couple of years is he's always open to suggestions, always. But type in a suggestion in a comment box. There's no guarantee that he's going to see that, because he doesn't watch every single video that's ever posted on YouTube, even if people are playing his rule set. Not because he doesn't want to, it's just a matter of time. I mean, he hasn't even watched our last 3 YouTube games playing his rule set and playing testing it, just because he's process of moving, renovating, blah blah blah. So, but thankfully he has provided a forum for people to make suggestions, ask questions, and so let's take a look at that. And that is simply, if you go to sireblood.com, right here, sireblood.com, and then /community. If you can see that, let me zoom in here a little bit. Sorry for the glare. Yeah, if you go to sireblood.com /community, you're going to see he has a great resource here and a lot of cool things. What is a Bloodbath rule set? Question and answer, Bloodbath news, downloads, some great stuff, general discussion, BBR question and answer. So those are 2 great areas right here. Discussion, general discussion, BBR question and answer. Okay, where you can post a question about it, make a suggestion, those kinds of things. Find players, events. Now, in order to get in here and post, ask questions, you are going to have to register. Good news is it's free. Right now, we already have 80 members. So that's fantastic. So thanks to anyone who has gone ahead and registered. But this is a great resource for those of you who have questions, and maybe sometimes you type it into a comment box in a video, or you try to email somebody, you don't get a response, and here's a great opportunity that even if Sired isn't able to answer your question in the next couple days, there are enough BBR veterans that are members of this community that could probably answer your question for you. Okay, and a great place to, again, make suggestions. So I want you to definitely check this out if you have the opportunity. So anyway, guys, I hope this video has been helpful. And so, like I said before we go, on the ATC technology, the range +1 is definitely staying. The fact that the allies can use that base and get an additional +1 is definitely staying, as it's an air base. An air base is an air base. And any ally being able to scramble from it is going to stay. The only thing that is up for suggestions, and yes, we do want your suggestions, is what do you think the number of planes to scramble should be limited to? All right? So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And look forward to seeing your responses in the comment box. And don't forget about sireblood.com /community. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.